Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jordan with the Laundromat Resource Podcast. This is show number 25, quarter of a century, and I'm super excited for you to be here today because we're talking with Paolo from Manilla, Philippines today. And I'll be honest, I did not know what to expect with this interview, but I was blown away. I was taking furious notes. I would encourage you, get something to take some notes on, whether it's a pen and paper or an app on your phone or whatever, because Paolo has got some incredible things to share with you. I didn't know how relevant it would be to all of us all over different parts of the world, but it's incredible. I mean, what he shares is incredibly relevant and incredibly valuable. It's going to help you grow your business. I guarantee it. I'll give you all your money back if it doesn't, but it will, I promise. I mean, he just really has some awesome things to share, and you're going to love it. And you'll know how to get in contact with him by the end, because you're going to want to at least say thank you for him being on the podcast, because I loved every part of this. But we'll get to that in a second. I wanted to just take a second to thank you guys. I had this crazy week of highs and lows. Let me just share my low day with you, and then I'll share some of the cool highlights of the week. But my low day started off with a bike ride. I do triathlons, hopped on my bike, didn't even make it very far from my house, and somehow on a straight flat road all by myself, I ended up taking a spill on my bike in the middle of the road. I don't even know how it happened. Got some good road rash and stuff. So nothing major. But I had to do the walk of shame back, carrying my bike back to my house. Embarrassing stuff. That's how my day started. And it ended on my way home from one of my laundromats, actually, where my car got hit by a drunk driver, spun me around a couple times. All the airbags went off. One of the wheels was severed from the vehicle. It was dramatic and crazy. I'm fine, a little bit banged up, but totally fine otherwise. Feel very blessed to have come out of it that way. But that was just a wild, crazy day. So that was my low day. But some of the highlights of the week, man, last week we had over 700 downloads of the podcast. I mean, that just blows me away. It's a testament to how awesome our guests have been, how much value they've been bringing, how much wisdom they've been bringing, how much you guys have been taking away from what they have to share. I was blown away by that. So thank you guys for that. And whether you're listening on a podcast or watching on YouTube, that doesn't even count the YouTube views, which, speaking of YouTube, this last week we crossed over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you guys who are watching this on YouTube. Shout out to you guys. If you haven't subscribed either on a podcast player and or on YouTube, hey, subscribe, because there's just some incredible stuff coming up. The next couple of episodes are out of this world. We've already done them. You're going to love them. So make sure you're subscribed. But thank you. Huge thank you guys to all you guys who've been a part of the podcast. And if you want to be laundromatresource.com/podcast guest, go check that out. Go sign up to come be a guest on the podcast. I think you'll love it. We have a ton of fun. So go do that. But huge thank you to all you guys who've been on the podcast, and a huge thank you to all you guys who have subscribed and who've been downloading and listening. I feel very humbled, very blessed. So fun. So thank you guys for that. I wanted to highlight real quick, speaking of awesome things happening, a bunch of you guys have been joining the free membership at laundromatresource.com. And a couple of you guys have introduced yourselves in the new members introduction forum, laundromatresource.com/forums. That's an awesome place for you to get to know other owners, ask your questions, introduce yourself, start networking. Big shout out to Michael, Tom, Steve, Margot, and Micah, who all introduced themselves this week on the forums. If you haven't done that, man, go introduce yourself. If you have, or even if you still haven't, go welcome them to the community. They have some cool stories. Some of them are looking to get started. Some of them are already in the business. Michael shared some awesome wisdom in his introduction from his vending machine route that translates super well to what we're doing with laundromats. So go check that wisdom out. And Margot, I wanted to just highlight real quick. She's in Africa and wants to build a laundromat there. And there's some unique obstacles that she needs to figure out how to overcome. And I thought that some of you guys out there are a lot smarter than me with this stuff and might be able to help Margot jumpstart her laundry business in Africa and help overcome some of those obstacles. So go check that out on the new members forum. I'll link it specifically in the show notes, laundromatresource.com/show25. Or if you're on YouTube, it'll be in the description down below. Go help Margot out over there and go welcome the rest of these guys to the community. And if you haven't yet, man, go introduce yourself over there. It's awesome. Also, speaking of forums, Micah had a question about LegalZoom. Can you use LegalZoom? Do you need a lawyer? Some of you guys might have some experience with LegalZoom, so I thought you guys could go over there and help Micah out with that question on the forums. And Corey had an interesting question about ROBS, which is rollover small business. It's basically a way to use your 401k money to buy a small business. And he wanted to know if any of you guys have had any experience doing this or heard of anybody doing this. So go help those guys out over on the forums. And as always, every week, go over there to the forums, ask a question, answer a question, because we are all better when we're working together, helping each other out. So make sure you're over there doing that every single week. It's awesome. And it's really cool to see what's been going on over there. Okay. Enough of all of that. I'm super excited for you to hear Paolo. So let's listen to this and then we'll jump right in with Paolo.
In today's world, if your laundromat is not online, you're losing business. Customers increasingly decide who to trust with their laundry by the quality of your web presence. But creating a professional logo and website that instills trust in potential customers and can be found on page 1 of Google can be difficult to create on your own and expensive to purchase through a traditional marketing company. As part of our mission to help laundromat owners succeed and find financial freedom through laundromat ownership, we are launching our done-for-you marketing service tailored specifically for laundromats. After ranking number 1 on Google with our own laundromat website and consulting with many others to help them do the same, we guarantee that we can build you a professional website that ranks on page 1 of Google within 6 months. Our joint expertise in the laundry industry and over 15 combined years in website design and online marketing allow us to offer affordable, transparent pricing for a high-quality web presence for your laundromats. You invest so much into providing your customers a quality laundry experience. Don't let anyone miss out on what you have to offer simply because they can't find you online. Let Laundromat Resource Marketing take care of your online presence so you can take care of your customers. Visit laundromatresource.com/getonline today for more information. That's laundromatresource.com/getonline or click on the link in the description.
Paulo, thank you for coming on the podcast. I am like really excited about this episode. I'm so fascinated by this and I cannot wait to hear about how you're doing your business. So thank you for coming on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for inviting me here. This is actually my first ever podcast to join in. So I'm really excited to share what I know about the laundromats here in Manila. So looking forward to this.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? You went straight to the top. This is like top-notch podcast. So no, but seriously, thank you for coming on. I'm sure you'll be on more here to come. And I want to hear, I mean, you're a very unique guest for us because, you know, you're pretty much on the other side of the world from where I am right now. You can't get a whole lot further. And so I'm really interested to hear about, you know, what it's like owning a laundromat in Manila. But before we get there, tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? And then maybe how did you get into the laundromat industry?
Oh, yeah, sure. This is going to be long. And right. Sometimes I get carried away when I talk about my journey about laundry. But anyway, a bit of my personal life, I'm a married man. I have 2 kids already, 2 beautiful girls. So for my journey in the laundromat business, I started actually back in 2013. This is a really fun story. So yeah, like what you said, buckle up. So my wife actually started the idea. So we have our day jobs back then. And we were on our way home. We were talking about our finances. So she was telling me, oh, we have already placed money for our investment in the stock market, in the mutual fund, so on and so forth. Okay, fine. All right. So I guess we're all set. And then she told me, we have some extra savings left. So what do you want to do about it? She knows that I've been wanting to have a business. But during that time, I was a little younger. I was a big dreamer. I always think about, oh, I want big corporations. I want to be the president, the CEO, even though I don't have any experience on doing businesses. So then she told me, we passed by this laundromat in front of our residence. She told me, hey, how about this? Why don't we try to set up this little laundromat business? It looks promising. We can see that there are a lot of cleanly packed linens and clothes in the shelves, and the shelves are really full. They're overflowing. There are other packages on the floor. So I took a look at it. Then I told her, "Are you serious about this? You really want to start up on the laundry business, which is a dirty business?" Literally a dirty business. So you don't want to wash clothes of other people. You don't even know them. You don't know where they came from. So I shrugged it off, in short. And then after a couple of days, so every night, what I do is, after work, I do my research on my hobbies. I do some video games. That's my normal routine before I go to sleep. But there was this weird night. I'm not yet going to bed, and I don't have anything to do. So I remembered what my wife told me, the laundry business. So I did some research, and that's where all my interest kicked in, right? So I realized, hey, it's not really that hard, and the machines look nice. You don't need a very big investment to start the business. So why not? And then I found this consultant. So he's based here in Manila. He's popular. Then he was able to help out around 30 or more individuals set up their laundry business. So why don't we really try this? So I talked to my wife, said, okay, and go for it. So we set up a meeting with the consultant, and in just a month's time, we closed the contract, signed it. We're ready to go, right? You'll be surprised in my next, what I'm going to say next, right? So the shop, it's a full service laundromat. When I say full service, it's the full wash, dry, fold services. We do that. We do the packing. We do the pressing. Everything. There's no coin up back then. It was 2013. I think the rise of the coin laundry here in the Philippines was around 2015. And actually, I was really doubtful of the idea of the coin ups. It's too Westerns. Only Americans do that because they have high labor cost, right? Here in the Philippines, we have really low labor cost, right? So why will someone just spend their time in the laundromat doing their own laundry, wherein they can just have it serviced, full service, so they can do whatever they want? Some family time, watch a movie, right? So anyway, going back to the topic. So it's a full service laundromat. The size of our first location, and we're actually renting it, releasing it. It's just 250 square feet.
250 square feet.
It's really small.
Oh my goodness. That's like slightly bigger than the room I'm in right now.
Exactly, right? But surprisingly, for you, right, it's very common here in the Philippines that we have these businesses, not only for laundry shops. Oh yeah, laundry shops, that's what we call here in the Philippines, not laundromats. So the shops normally are around that size. Sometimes they go up like double or triple the size. And the setup of of Metro Manila is that the houses sit together. So not compared to in the States that, houses have big blocks of land, right? Here, houses sit wall to wall. So the density, if you imagine the density in one area density of the residents are a lot, really a lot.
Yeah.
Really congested. So it was a 250 square foot place. We have our first pair of Speed Queen machines. Back then, it was a top load machine, and the capacity was like the smallest one, the machines that you use back there at home in the States, that's what we call the commercial machines here in the Philippines. So you have those machines, I'm sure, right? The top load washers, right? So we had our first pair, so we're happy. Business was okay, and it's our first time, so we don't have any comparison. For just right at the third month, we went green already. We started to earn. So okay, we're happy with the side hustle, the income, not so much, but it gets to help to pay the bills, right? And I get to learn, right? So we continued to do the business, and take note, we both have a day job. So I was in charge of operations. My wife was in charge of the finance. So we were handling this remotely. But most of the time, I handle it remotely, right? So I just call my attendants, how things are. So yeah, so that happened. That was the first year, right? Then I guess the following year, so I was talking to my wife, hey, this looks like a promising business. Why? So we started to generate our vision. So the vision back then was, the target was around 10 branches. So if we're earning this, then multiply it by 10, then wow. So we're going to get rich. Rich in the sense that it's going to be, we'll be better off, right? Okay, fine. So I continued to research, because what the consultant taught us, it was the fundamentals of starting a laundry business. It was good, but it was basic. So I did my research, and I stumbled upon this local forum. There was this thread about laundry business. It has around 300 pages. So I read them from page 1 to the end. Yeah, that's how interested I am during that time. So dedicated. I took down notes. Yeah, because I'm not sure how do I handle, let's say, irate clients, or how do I handle this type of stain? I don't know, right? So I'm really relying on what the other people know. And in the forum, there were some folks that they were telling, don't start a laundry business. It's already saturated here in Manila. It's just going to cost you money, right? Which is actually true. So I told you earlier that the density of the residents in here in Manila, right? So our first shop, we were the fifth actually in the fifth business, laundry business in a 500-meter radius. Imagine that.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredibly dense population, but also the laundry shops. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but I think the lucky part there is that we were at the center. So imagine this, it's like a grid of it's a residential community. So a grid wherein the streets are all nearby, and it's just really dense, a lot of people, right? And we were at the center. But we were the new guys. But still, we were able to get a chunk of a piece of the pie in the laundry business there, right? So yeah. So fast forward, after a year and a half, we opened our second branch. So thankfully, it's I think 4 or 5 times bigger than my first one, right? But the location was really bad. It was just like I was just like forced to get that, because I was really frustrated for I think more than a month or 2. I've been looking for a new place, and I wasn't able to find one. So when I got that, I really jumped onto it. So the income is not that good compared to the first one. It's still green though, but it's not really that profitable. So what we did is I asked my attendants, let's do some marketing. We do some flyerings. We drop some our marketing materials at the mailboxes of the residents of our neighbors. But still, it didn't work. We even asked the local drivers of the transportation system in that area to help us out in the marketing. So they also gave out the flyers, the marketing materials. It didn't work really. And to think, we were just like the third or the second laundry shop that area. I guess that explains it. No one wanted to have a laundry shop in that area because the business is weak. So I didn't know that. But that didn't stop me. So one of the turning points, this is actually one of the first milestones in our journey, wherein towards the business-to-business model, right? A very good friend of mine who happens to have a salon in another city, he called me and then he said, "Hey, Paolo, I need some help. My current service provider is going to stop doing service in my salon, and it's going to be a problem." So I've been thinking about the B2B, business to business concept back then, but I'm still not sure because I know there's a lot of cost involved. I'm not sure how to deal with businesses back then. But since it's my friend, a very good friend of mine, why not? But the problem is, I don't have a van. I don't have a driver. I do have a car, but I'm working, so I can't spend a lot of time just picking the towels of that salon. So I thought about it, and then I realized that my mom, she has a little van. She has a driver. And my mom was actually my number one non-fan. Non-fan.
Oh, no.
He's a non-believer, believe me. My folks, they are also entrepreneurs. They started young, so they had a very big shoe manufacturing facility before, but they already closed it down. But their business was really good. They were like exporting shoes around the world back then, right? So it was really good. But anyway, she was our number one non-believer. So I told her, "Hey, Mom, I have this new idea. I want to try this out. Can I borrow your van just for a couple of hours per day? I'll just pay the driver as well." So she allowed me. And then it was easy to plan the logistics. Maybe it's just because it's just one salon. So it was seamless. I was able to add the new process easily in my business. So I was excited. So, wow, it's working, right? But I'm running at a loss there. It's just one salon. I have some other small businesses already that I've been servicing. Then our neighborhood salons, the barber shops, and the spa, and little restaurants. But it's the first time that I went inside a mall in a business center to pick up, right? So and money is there actually. There's volume there, right? It's okay. But again, running at a loss. I'm borrowing a van. I have to pay the petrol and the driver. So I have to think of ways on how to earn.
Right.
So I thought, okay, maybe this is the start of my B2B journey. Why don't I know that the retail business in my second branch is not that good. So why don't I focus on adding more B2B clients? So I asked my attendants. I had them, I think, for 2 months. I had them walk around, give out, and talk to the owners or the managers of businesses to offer our services. So it was around 2 months, yeah. I also printed them, gave them calling cards to make it more professional. Okay. They were able to give me one client. Obviously, I was not happy.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time planning, and then it's just one client. So I thought, maybe I really have to do this. And I'm not at that time, I'm a very shy person. I'm not very outgoing. I don't like talking to people I don't know. I don't like rejection. I don't like you to say no to me,
Right.
right? And in the business, there are more no's than yeses, right? But it really pushed me to do it because I really want to grow the business, scale it up. So what I did was for 4 Sundays, so that's a month, I allotted around 2 to 3 hours of my time. So I parked my car in the center of the business district and I walked around. And it was also an exercise for me. It's like I've been walking for hours.
Yeah.
So what I did was I literally went door to door in the salons, restaurants, spas. I wasn't touching hotels back then. Was really scared of servicing hotels back then. So in 4 Sundays, in a month, I was able to get 5 clients. So wow, that my staff were really surprised that wow, that many. So I was also surprised that I guess the difference is that if the manager or the owner realizes that you own the business that you're marketing, they will engage you more. So they ask a lot of questions. How do you sustain these? These are our concerns in our current service provider. How much is the service cost? Where are you located? It's more of a conversation rather than just, pitching or a one-way marketing style, right? So I was very happy. So after that, I targeted that every month I'm going to add one new client. So and these are small businesses, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to average around 2 clients per month. So it really kept going. I was really relentless. Keep on adding. Go. Let's go. If there's a problem with capacity, no problem. We have some savings. We are earning from our main jobs. We buy new machines. Keep on buying the Speed Queen machines, right? So I think at around that time, I already had around 4 or 5 pairs, right? So it kept growing, adding more staff. I was still borrowing my mom's van and the driver. And then what happened was, because I was so relentless in getting more clients, I forgot about quality. So we had a lot of fallout as well. I was adding new clients and there were a lot of clients leaving. So then I guess it made me realize that it's not all about getting in more clients. It's about making your service, really good quality. Diba? Then, so I took a step back and I told my attendants, we have to revisit our process. And I was also a manager in my day job. So I know how to handle people. I'm just really not that, outgoing. I was shy, but I have to do this, right? So I did some training plans, spent some time with them during the weekends. So it slowly improved, right? The cases that I had back then was very bad. Washing quality, damaged items, missing items. And worst case, I had theft from the cash payments and sometimes theft of the actual item because the towels, the items of the business clients are really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really tempting. And I'm not able to trace who stole it, right? So it was a nightmare around that time. Okay. So fast forward to 2016. What happened was I got my very first hotel that year. And it's another milestone for me. It's a little hotel. So what happened was during that time I had my 2 branches. We were going B2B already. But we still have some retail clients. I think at that time I have around 20 or 25 clients, combination of salons, spas, and restaurants. So we're happy. And we were also able to buy our own van. at that time and hire our own driver, but still we're borrowing my mom's van and the driver, right? Because there's a lot of volume for us at that time.
Yeah.
And I remember one time when the driver of my mom was talking to my mom, said, Mrs. Cruz, I just need to give you an update. Your van is full of laundry bags, really full, that Paolo's attendant can no longer hop in. So he needs to ride a cab with other laundry bags to go back to the shop. That's how many we were picking up. So for me,
it's a good problem to have. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was really a good problem. And take note, remember, my mom was my number one non-fan.
That's right. I like that.
So the message was very clear that it's Paolo's really doing something about this, right?
Yeah.
So there. But anyway, so in 2016, I got my first hotel, right? So they found me in a local service website. So they were telling me that they need help because their main provider need to rehabilitate their machines. So they have to close shop for a while. So okay, fine. And it's just a couple of blocks away from my first branch. So why not? It's a boutique hotel. I think it's just around 30 or 40 rooms, really small. So we were able to handle that. To think that, I thought I would be able to handle it, but with some research, I realized that it was just the same process with just some changes in the tracking system and the folding, because there are requirements in the hotel linens for folding.
Mm-hmm.
So after a month, the manager was talking to me. The hotel manager was talking to me. So she said that, what do you think if we move our hotel to your service, right? Can you accommodate us? So I said, yeah, of course. You're just nearby. Why not, right? But the condition is you have to handle 2 additional branches. So, okay, where are these branches located? They're located in other cities, probably 30 minutes or 40 minutes away from where we are. So it was a challenge. Well, yeah, I was thinking about it as a challenge and a good problem, because during that time, we are actually in the process of constructing our plant in a property that we own. Right? So no longer renting, and it's a plant. We won't be accepting any retail clients there. It's a processing plant for the B2B clients. So the hotel manager gave me 2 weeks or 3 weeks to prepare. And it was really good timing. That was the time that the plant will be completed. Right? And we bought our first industrial machine. It was a 55-pounder. And it's not brand new. It's a refurb. It's an old machine. It was a brand. It's a Primus brand. Now, here in Manila, just to give you some information on how we purchase machines. Of course, the smaller machines and the coin-op machines, they are all brand new. But for industrial machines, most of us in the industry, we go by the refurbs. These are like 5 or 10-year-old machines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they do, the business owners, they purchase machines from other countries. Most of the time, it's from the States. Then they repair it here in Philippines. Then they sell it. So they flip it, right? And for me, I was hesitant back then, but when I first tried it, it was really good. The breakdowns, I was surprised that the breakdowns of the machine is not really that common, not often. Yeah, what other people is trying to tell me that, it's secondhand, you're going to have a headache in the maintenance. But surprisingly, it's not. And the support of my provider was really good. Like if there's a problem, in just a matter of 2 or 3 hours, the tech will be arriving and it's going to repair it. The quick repairs, except for, of course, the rebearings, changing the seals. It takes quite a while, but overall it was good. So there, we have our first machine, and it's paired by my little dryers. I moved some of my dryers out from the 2 branches to support the industrial machine. So because we don't have enough funds back then, right? So, but we have already a plant. It's a small plant. It's very spacious. I think it's around 7,000 square feet. Much bigger.
Way bigger.
Much bigger.
Especially way bigger than that first laundromat.
It's 250 square foot.
I know. Holy cow. Yeah.
But okay, so we were able to handle the 3 branches because of that. So that's where my B2B journey started. After that, I reviewed my list of B2B clients, and there it was a lot of salons, spas. So, and then I realized that these are small businesses that, I wanted bigger ones. I want to go for the hotels, right? I want to go for the hotels, right? So
big industrial shop now.
Yep. So I started shifting my marketing from the salons to the hotels. So I was able to get more hotels, the boutique hotels, right? And then there was this hotel that was really eager to transfer to me. Okay, sir, I want to start. I want to test your service. Right? And then we were almost done in the discussion. And then she remembered, sir, I forgot to ask you, do you have a Flatworks in your plant? I don't have Flatworks in my plant. That was the deal breaker. I wasn't able to get that. Sir, we need pressing of our linens. This is a hotel. Don't you realize that? The other hotels, they have, the linens of other hotels don't wrinkle that much, so we can fold it really nicely.
Yeah.
So I realized that, okay, this is a very big roadblock. I researched how much Flatworks cost, and it's really, really expensive. Coincidentally, my wife's former colleague, they had a small, no, it's just not small. It's an industrial laundry plant also, but they closed it down probably because of bad business, and they happened to have a 60-incher Flatworks that just needs refurb. So we bought that. So we were very happy. We were able to press the items of some of the hotels. I was able to get more hotels that requires the Flatworks. But there's another problem. The Flatworks that we have is just a 60-incher. Yes, we can press the items, but how can we press the bigger sheets, the queens, the kings, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to fold it. And because of that, we tried to fold it. There's a bigger chance of having an accident that, it's the sheet's going to get scorched or torn apart. It was a problem for me, and I was very vocal to my wife and my parents here about it, that this is really a big problem. And I know that the cost of the bigger Flatworks is in the millions of pesos, right? So just for familiarity, I think $1 is around 50 pesos, right? So it was, having the big Flatworks was the major challenge. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
We have the space, but it's too expensive. My mom heard it, the number one non-fan. And that's where she told me that, do you really need that? I'm going to help. She was now a believer. Because
you won her over.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And even my dad, actually, they were my motivation. One of my motivation. I remember my dad. This was earlier, I think 2014. He was asking me about the business. So he was telling me, how's your business? It's good. So then again, he asked me, why did you start the laundry business? What are you earning there? Pennies? Oh, so that was an insult and a motivation to me. So ever since that day, it just kept on my mind that, go. I'm going to change my mind of my folks.
Yes.
I'm not earning pennies here. I'm going to scale this up, right? So yeah, they were my believers now. So they were my fans. I'm not sure if they are number one fans, but they are now fans.
How long did it take for you to win them over? How many years?
3 years? 4 years?
3 hard years. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we were able to purchase the Flatworks, and then that's where it all began. That's where I am right now. We have already expanded. I have like 3 more industrial washers, and I have 5 bigger dryers. My plant is capable of handling around 3 to 4 tons per day.
Wow.
The shift, well, before the pandemic, I had a 24-hour shift. So imagine the turns of the machines per day, right? So, yeah, sorry, it's quite long. You might have some questions.
No.
That's my story, man.
Man, I mean, that's just so fascinating. It's so cool. First of all, I mean, it's just cool to hear, how things work in Manila, right? Because not very many of us get to experience that. But it's so cool to hear your story, to hear how you started in a 250 square foot laundry shop and were able to be creative and work hard on your business and scale that to where now you have this 7,000 square foot plant and you're doing a ton of commercial B2B laundry. It's just so cool to hear that. And it's, for me, the thing that was really striking me is the principles are the same, right? If we're in the United States, if you're in Manila, the principles are the same.
Exactly.
You got to use creativity. You got to work hard, and you have to have your mindset on growing and scaling if that's what you want to do. And it works there, and it works here, and it works all over the place. So it's just super cool story. But yeah, I mean, I have lots of questions. One that I was wondering, are you still working a full-time job outside of laundry?
No more, actually. I'm full-time already. So what happened was in 2 years ago, 2018, right? So I was an operations manager in one of the big international companies here in Manila. So pay is good. Happy with the job. I can work even with my eyes closed because I know what I'm doing already, right? But 2 years ago, they have to let me go. So that was another milestone that I was afraid back then because the salary that I'm getting is not comparable to what we're earning in the laundry business. So I was thinking like, how I'm going to support the family, right? But it was also exciting. It's more actually I was scared, but I'm more of excited.
Yeah.
Right. So I remember the time when my boss and the HR person was talking to me. When they told me that, of course, I was scared for a split second. Then after I realized that, okay, this is what's going to happen. I don't have any control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about what I am in control of. So laundry. So that's what I've been thinking. What am I going to do with the laundry? How I'm going to improve this? This is now my main job, the laundry business. So that's what happened. So when I left the company, I went full time in the laundry business. Every day I was there from around 8 a.m. in the morning up to 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. in the evening. Sometimes I change shifts because back then it was 24. We were 2 shifts. Sometimes I come in around 5 p.m. in the afternoon and I go home around 5 a.m. in the morning, right? Once in a while. When doing full time, I saw that the flaws and the weaknesses of my team. Right? There's a lot. I thought I've seen everything, but no, since I've been handling it remotely, I just saw probably just 5% of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to do. Right? So it was also an opportunity for me to restructure the team, develop new training programs, methodologies, and everything. Right? So, yeah, it's good. It was good that it was a blessing that I was let go, so that probably I can focus 100% in the business.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I love about that story actually is, man, I mean, we, a lot of people, we're taught, go, get a good job, you get an education, get a good job, and you're going to be safe and you're going to be secure and you're going to have that salary. And life doesn't always work out that way. Right. And you found this. And so because you were building this business on the side, when that happened to you, you were okay, right?
Yep.
Like it was scary, still scary, and still a lot of work to do, but you were okay, right? You didn't have to scramble. Your family didn't starve, I'm assuming. Yeah. And, that's why I think it's just so important for everyone to be building something of your own on the side, so that when stuff happens, you have that to fall back on for a while. So, I mean, I just think that's a cool story, and that's a principle that translates everywhere, right? Manilla, the United States, and everywhere in between.
And what's also funny about that incident is after my last day in that company, so I have this client, a hotel client. He called me, sir, we have to talk to you about the hotel. So I thought it was a problem. So I went there, had a meeting. Then the president told me that, Paolo, we're on an aggressive stage right now. We're planning to expand 15 branches by the end of the year. And that was September at that time.
Geez, wow.
Are you interested in handling all of it? Of course.
That's like
this is my main job, right?
Yeah.
So that made it a little bit easier for me to adjust, right? But still, I'm starting to see the problems in the operation. So again, what happened back in 2015, 2014, wherein there were problems in the operation, it's happening again, right? It's happening again. So that's why I have to solve it during that time.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, so cool. What a cool story. What cool timing, for that to happen.
Good timing.
And man, that's awesome. So do you have any self-service locations, or are you still all full service?
I only have one location right now.
Oh, just
the plant. Yeah, I closed the first and the second branch already because I was dead focused in the B2B scene, right?
Yeah.
Adding retail in my operation is just going to mess it up. During the transition, what happened was sometimes the t-shirt of a client gets folded into the back of the hotel client, right? Or the towel of the hotel client gets into the client.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really difficult. So that's why I shifted to 100% B2B. Right. And in terms of the coin ops, I forgot to mention that in 2018, was it in 2018? No, I think it was 2019. So the volume was picking up. Remember, there's this one client that added 15 branches, right? So the volume my capacity started to peak, right? And we don't have any more money to invest because I have to be more careful now. This is my main job.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that how can I want to handle more, but I don't have the funds and I don't have the facilities. Right? So I started talking to my neighboring laundry businesses. Just walk away, a couple of minutes walk, or just across the street. These are the little coin laundry shops. During that time, the coin laundry business was the pop kid. Then the full service laundromats, they're taking a back seat. Right? So I was talking to the owners, just trying to getting to know them. And I was telling them, I'm no threat. I'm on a different industry. So I just explained that I'm handling the hotel clients. But at the back of my head, I was thinking that I realized that, hey, instead of me having a problem of adding more clients, why don't I ask help from these guys? But the question is, can these guys handle hotels? These are just small machines, right? The LG, Maytags, and the Speed Queens. We need fast service for hotels. It's like a 24-hour turnaround. But anyway, I did try. I tried to give them a couple of laundry bags, and I monitored. I checked their quality, and they passed my standards. That's the time where I formed a laundry society. It's a small laundry society consisting of around five or six members. It's a closed society. It's not an association or any public group, wherein the members help each other in improving the operating standards here in the laundry business. It's small. It's not going to make a dent right now, but at least our current clients are experiencing the same level if they're being handled by another side that's part of the society, right? So I guess that's another right thing to do. And I was also able to help these little laundry shops that they thought that they are not capable of handling, but because of training and some knowledge, they realize that they are able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that because, I mean, so many people get caught up in, competing that they miss out on being able to cooperate and help each other out. And it's better for everybody, when they do that. And starting a society and, partnering with some of these small laundry shops to do laundry is an awesome way to not only help them, but to help you, improve your business and to help your clients, which is going to help you retain your clients, and it just all the way around. It's so beneficial.
Yeah, because I have accepted that I cannot do everything.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm going to peak and that's it. But I don't want to stop there. So I found a solution. It's that little group.
Well,
because of that, we're able to handle like an additional 2 or 3 tons per day.
Yeah. Well, what really impresses me about you is that, all throughout your story, it was like, we ran into this problem and we ran into this problem and we ran into this problem. And right after that, every single time you said, and here's something I tried and it worked, or here's something I tried and it didn't work. So I tried this, and here's something I tried. And I think, that's probably the key to your success. And that's probably what won your parents over to be your biggest fans now, is that, you started small, you learned what you could, and you just were creative and persistent and continued to solve problems. And as you solve problems, bigger problems came and you were able to solve those to where now you can handle really big problems, and you're doing big business now because of it, right? Makes you a lot more valuable. So super impressive, super impressive. Well, okay. So tell me a little bit more about laundry in Manila. What are most people still doing the drop-off stuff in these little shops? Are bigger shops gonna pop up anywhere? What do you see happening?
Well, here the laundry industry in the Philippines, I think it's just the same. So there's a fair share for the full service laundromats and the coin laundromats.
Okay.
The full service are much cheaper to set it up. I think it would just cost you around $6,000, $7,000.
Okay.
Right? So it's really cheap, like what I did. And the coin ops, it will cost you probably around $20,000 and up. And these are also small. If I know in the States that, coin ops are really huge, like the spaces are really huge. Here, the coin ops probably are like around just 500 square foot, the smallest. The biggest would be around 2,000 square feet, but it's very rare. We don't have like coin ops here. Well, sometimes they have food to sell, but not like there in the States that there are vending machines, there are like arcade games there, or anything that can pass the time while waiting.
Right.
So here it's just most of the time food, because it's just small, and there's also a television. Basically, that's it. So And also, coin ops, just like what happened to the full service laundromats, there are a lot of coin ops around. In a 500-meter radius, you'll see probably 3 or 4 coin ops shared with 2 or 3 more full service laundromats, right? And now with the pandemic happening, I'm seeing a lot of businesses, laundry businesses being sold.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that. There's a surplus of machines right now in the market. If you're smart enough, you can actually buy at this time.
Yeah, now's a good time to buy.
Oh,
some of those machines.
yes. Oh, yeah. It was really difficult because of the pandemic. How are you guys there in during the pandemic?
What I mean, some people have gotten hit a lot harder than others. A lot of owners, at the lowest dropped, 30, 40% for a little while there. Some didn't. I know a lot of and I want to ask you about this for you, but a lot of the B2B pickup and delivery laundry went down, but a lot of the residential laundry pickup and delivery went up, even to the point of making up for the lost business with the commercial for a lot of people. So I saw a lot of that. Some laundromats were not affected or not affected very much.
They're lucky.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And I mean, it's good that they're, pretty much everywhere here, laundromats have been, declared essential businesses. So most of them were able to stay open. But, it really varied pretty widely how much they were affected. Some were affected a lot and some were hardly affected. And now some are still down and some are back to where they were, or even some a little bit higher than where they were. So it's kind of all over the map for it.
It's a slow recovery, I guess.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you said earlier that you're going to ask me the same question since I'm on B2B, right?
Yeah. How did it affect your business with all this?
What happened during March? Our government declared a hard lockdown here in Manila. So meaning that most of the businesses are closed. Only essential ones, food, some transportation for the healthcare workers. Most of my hotels are closed, except for those that have long-staying guests. And it was very clear by the government, if the hotel has a long-staying guest, then they remain to be open. But it's just a handful of guests, right? So we're talking about tons of laundry that we handle every day. Now we're talking like, what, less than 100 kilos? So that's around 50, 200 pounds per day. So I have to adjust. Some of my folks, I did not let them go, but I have to, rotate the schedule of their work shift.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really difficult. I have to cut the shift from 2 shifts down to 1, right? But I guess the pandemic has a negative effect, and I saw that in that negative effect, there is a positive outcome. I realized some of the big industrial laundry plants, they were forced to close, probably because in their area there are harder restrictions in the businesses. And while I was working with the remaining open clients, I am slowly getting accreditation from the hotels that you have to consider as an essential business, because on the streets there are police that flags down cars if they think that they are not essential. So we had this accreditation letter. So it made our life easier to travel around the metro. And then when I realized that these big laundry plants are closed, I was telling my operations manager, oh yeah, I forgot. Just this year, January this year, I hired my operations manager because I was really having a hard time to handle operations and strategy. Okay, going back to the strategy and during the pandemic. So I was talking to my operations manager that we have to revitalize our marketing even if it's a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So we started calling our old prospects. We were able to get the clients. They were telling us, "Oh wow, you're very good timing, right? Are you still open? Oh yeah, we're not going to close. Okay, thank you for that. We're going to need your service, right?" And also, my the supplier of my industrial machines, because he also has a laundromat business, much bigger than I have. Probably they are 5 or 6 times bigger compared to mine. Told me that there are hotels that my clients that needs help also. So can you help? Right. Since he is like a very good friend of mine and a trusted supplier, of course I want to help him. So business was somehow good. It's not compared to pre-pandemic that we're getting tons, but I get the ball rolling, right? And we continued to market. We're still getting new clients. I guess from March to June, we were getting an average of around 2 or 3 new hotels during the pandemic. And what happened is, since there are no tourists, right? There are no tourists in the metro. The guests that they are housing were seafarers, right? Because here in Manila, there are a lot of overseas foreign workers. They work abroad, and since they are repatriating back, they are required to have a 2-week quarantine in the hotels. So that's what keeps some of the hotels busy at this time. So there was business at that time, but I wouldn't say it's good.
Yeah.
But I'm still happy that I have, I'm still operating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just another example of here's this problem. But I think because you went through everything you've gone through up to that point and, figuring out all these different problems, I can tell right now that you're a really good marketer. You think very creatively about how to market. You're not afraid to try, to market in different ways. And if it doesn't work, you try something different. And there's just a ton of examples in your story of different ways that you marketed to grow your business. And it shows. I mean, not very many businesses were adding clients every month, early on in all of this, and especially laundry businesses, because, when everything shuts down, there's not nearly as much. I mean, like you said, there's not nearly as much laundry to be done. So, but I like that you thought creatively and you thought, okay, there's a problem. Yes, but this is also an opportunity. I can go start collecting clients that, we're using these other services that aren't around anymore, that are closing down. And I bet that you're going to find at the end of all this, when things start getting back to normal more and more, that you're going to find out that your business has actually grown tremendously during the pandemic, because all these new clients are going to be needing a lot more,
I hope
laundry
so.
done. So
yeah.
Huge jump forward. And that's just a testament to you working hard and working smart and being creative, and planning ahead. And those are all things that we should all be doing right now. Because, like you mentioned earlier, there's things you can't control, like, if the government's going to shut stuff down or not. You can't control it, but you can control the things that you can control. So like you did, figure out what you can control and go do it to the best you can. Yeah. Very cool. Well, there's just like 1,000 questions that I want to ask you, but I don't want to like overwhelm you at all. But man, I'm trying to think of like, what's the most important stuff that we all are like dying to know about this laundry business in Manila. So do you have right now, tell us a little bit about this. Do you have one van? You said you got a van, right?
Yeah, I have right now I have 5 vans already.
You have 5 vans. Is one of them still your mom's, or did you give it back to her?
No more.
That's funny. She's probably happy she got her van back. But 5 vans.
But sometimes I also consider our personal cars an emergency van. If ever that, let's say, for example, a client really needs their linens, I'm the one who goes there. Yeah. So I'm like the second party going, second trip.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Wow. Yeah. But before, it was like most of the time. Every week I do emergencies. But now it's really, really rare. So I'm happy that I was able to solve that.
So you have a lot of volume that you're doing, particularly before everything happened.
But
you have a lot of volume still that you're doing. How are you managing all of that? Do you use like a software? What systems do you have in place to help you manage like the laundry, the drivers, your employees, all that stuff? How are you doing that?
You'll be surprised. We are low technology guys here. We don't have any software here. Only Microsoft Office and Facebook chat.
Really?
That simple. Yes, I know. I've been researching in the States that it's very high tech, right? There are a lot of apps for logistics and everything, but here in Manila, you rarely see that. For the coin ops, they have POS systems already that they can track the turns, the sales, but I guess in where I am right now, the B2B scene, probably the top 5 giants, industrial laundry giants here in Manila will have those high-tech software. But most of us, we do it manually. But I guess that also helped us improve it one by one. Right now, I'm very heavy using worksheets, right? I have some know-how in doing my sheets, right? And I was able to automate it, and it was able to help us. But when you're talking about those applications, we don't use that. It's expensive. I'd rather buy new machines or buy a new van. It's the market here. I guess the difference is, since it's congested, it's much easier to move around and go to the clients. But the traffic is really bad. So sometimes one of the solutions, very simple solutions, we use Waze, right? So just to avoid the traffic. But basically that's it. I know it's going to be surprising, but yeah, that's how it's happening here in the Philippines. So if you want some opportunity here, let's talk. Maybe we can help out the industry here, right?
Hey, yeah. I mean, I got some people that you can talk to that, it would at least be interesting for you to talk to, because I wonder if, especially, I mean, after things go back, to normal, assuming they go back to normal at some point here, particularly if your business has grown a ton, it might be helpful to get in there and get, an app to help you manage that stuff, to make sure, stuff's going the way that you want it to go. And a lot of those softwares, you can really customize them to, implement the systems that you have, in place.
I know there's a lot of opportunity here in the Philippines with regards to, optimizing and automation. But probably what's holding us back would be the cost. So Filipinos are very resourceful. We try to find things that that can help us out in the most efficient way and the most less costly. Yeah. So let's say, for example, those refurbs, right? For other countries, these machines are already trash and garbage, but for us, this is gold, right?
Yeah.
We find use for it, and then we can make it. We can use it just like a brand new. So that's how we do it here. So I guess that's also another challenge, changing the mindset of the Filipinos, that the automation can help you, but I would think that it's too expensive. I'd rather use it somewhere else that I can get faster results.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would just say maybe that's the case, but also, use your own advice and say, hey, you know what? This you in particular have said, hey, that's a challenge. That could be a place to grow, but could also be an opportunity, right? If you can figure out how to get a good software to help you manage that stuff more efficiently and save you money in the long run, then it's going to give you an advantage over the other players, and you might be able to get more business. But maybe not. Just out of curiosity, I mean, that's pretty cool that you're able to manage that kind of volume, that big of a business using spreadsheets and Facebook chat and Waze. And those are all free resources, and pretty cool and pretty impressive that you've been able to set that up, doing that. I don't know that I would want to tackle that. That sounds like a lot, but pretty cool.
You guys are way ahead than us. Yeah, we're trailing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing I wanted to ask you, and maybe this is just a simple answer, but early, I mean, you seem like, just talking to you, hearing your story, you seem like very business savvy. You're very, confident in what you do. But you said early on, you were shy. You didn't want to talk to people. You didn't like rejection. And I mean, how did you get over some of that to where, now you have this big business you're managing employees, you're on a podcast telling your story to a bunch of strangers. How did you grow in those ways?
So changing my mindset, actually, it was because of the drive. I wanted to scale my business, and I know that it's just me that's going to do it, not my attendants, not my wife, right? Since I'm part of operations and marketing, I will have to do this on my own, right? So I forced myself, and then eventually, because of the successes that I got in getting more clients, it made me more confident.
Mm-hmm.
Then slowly, it's just like very natural to me to talk to people. If hotel managers want to talk about laundry, we can talk all day about it, right? That's how I am right now. I love talking about the industry, the technologies, and possible how we can improve the processes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's because of the experiences, the challenges that I was able to handle properly.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that the driving force behind it was your why, like the why you were doing what you were doing, that drive that you had, and particularly in the laundry industry, I think we can lose sight of that why sometimes. Especially, I think here, a lot of people want to get in the laundromat because they can kind of put it on, automation, to an extent. It's pretty simple, pretty easy business, not a ton of work. And so it's easy to just kind of get in that routine and not constantly have that why you're getting into the industry, why you're getting into the business at the forefront of your mind, driving you to grow, to expand. I mean, just super inspiring of what you're doing with your why. Go ahead.
No.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm very excited about that. You've already given a ton of really, really cool tips all throughout your story. We do have a couple of sections that we like to do here on the podcast. But before we kind of get to those, well, one of them is it's down to business. Mm-hmm. And in Down to Business, we like to just hear a little bit about the details. And I'm really curious about just some of the details about, like, how do you charge for laundry? Do you charge by the pound? How much does that cost, a hotel to, those kinds of details? What does that look like?
Well, it really varies. It depends on the linen type, the requirements of the hotel. So there's no fixed rate compared to the coin ops or the full service laundromats for retail, right? Here, you really have to work closely with the client. You have to get the requirements. That's where you can start computing for the cost. And for for hotels, most of the time it's more of on a per piece basis.
Okay.
Right? So that's how the pricing goes. But there's no certain number that I can tell you because it really varies. There's a very small chance that the one hotel will have the same price with another, because there's also the distance. You have to compute for the distance from the plant, the cost, the requirements of the chemicals that you're going to use, how many headcounts will you need to work on this client. So that's where the complexity comes in terms of for B2B. Right. So I'm sure automation can help me out here because it's a nightmare. It's a headache really to compute that. And I'm not really sure if I'm doing it correct, but I guess I'm doing it correct because I'm here now, right?
Yeah, you're growing. Well, so, I mean, that brings up a good question. So are you personally the one that has to go get all of these clients, negotiate all of the pricing? Are you having to do that, or do you have somebody that helps you with that?
I prefer doing that on my own. Right? I really love talking to the hotel managers, going to the hotels. Right? And of course, it's a change of environment. The laundry plant is, it's dirty, right? It's messy. When you go to the hotels, oh wow, so proper here. It's just a change of environment. So I really like going to meetings, meeting hotel managers and the general managers.
Yeah.
So I guess that also helped me build my confidence.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. Okay. So you're going out and you are negotiating these prices with the hotels and landing the clients, and that's your job in your business. Oh, one of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, I'm very excited to hear from you.
Listen up. It's the secret sauce.
We have a section we like to call secret sauce, and secret sauce is, as a laundry owner, as a laundry business owner, do you have any tips of things that are working in your business, particularly with the commercial, the B2B, pickup, delivery, service, anything that is working really well for you that you think would work well for other owners around the world?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. So the simplest way would be you have to understand the nuts and bolts of your business, right? It may seem easy at first that, like what I told you earlier, that it's an easy business to set up, the laundry shop, right? Mm-hmm. But if you start to deconstruct it one by one, from operations, from the deliveries, from the machines, there you will see how difficult it is to connect each other, right? But if you fully understand that, you will have a bigger picture on how to properly operate your business. So, for example, back then, I researched how to handle different kinds of stains, blood stains, food stains, oil stains, everything. How can I remove this completely and more efficiently? Right? Those types of research is going to help you in the future, right? And I was also able to share that to my attendants. So I have people assigned doing the spot cleaning, right? Because of this knowledge, they are now more aware on what to do and much more efficient and faster, right? And another thing is that in my experience, I raised the bar in terms of learning how to maintain my machines. Well, my smaller machines, right? The Speed Queens. Mm-hmm. I fell in love with the Speed Queens, right? Up until now, even my first pair of machines, I am still using those machines, right? What happened was, of course, you have to maintain your machine, and I have to pay for a technician back then. And the tech was really ripping me off. Like, cost me around like a couple of $100, but the problem was not fixed. So I got really frustrated. So what I did was I tried to learn it on my own. observe what the techs are doing, how they dismantle the machines, and I even watched YouTube videos. So in a year's time, I was able to master how to repair it. Well, except for the wirings, I'm not an electrician. So, but the parts, I do understand, how the series of the parts are connected to each other. So it helped me probably save on the maintenance cost. And even the parts, I purchased the parts directly from the suppliers in the States, right? Instead of buying it here from the distributor.
Mm-hmm.
So that also saved my cost. I guess that's also part of the nuts and bolts. Maybe you can also do that for controlling your expenses. If you want to focus, let's say if you're trying to save up for another machine, then try to cut some costs on some aspects of your business. What else? I guess in a nutshell, you really have to be resourceful wherever you are. If you're in the States or here in the Philippines, you have to think about ways on how to, work your way around these challenges. Challenges may be small, but if you're able to master it, those challenges won't be even challenges at all. Right? There you go. That's my secret sauce for you.
That's just so profound. It's such great secret sauce. It's just such great advice in general to understand and know the nuts and bolts of your business. Because if you don't, you're not going to run an efficient business. And you talked about understanding how all the parts of a machine kind of go together, and because of that, you can do most of the repairs. Well, the same is true about your business as a whole, right? Understanding how the different parts of your business connect up together. And so when there's a problem, you can diagnose it and figure out where the problem is, just like in a machine. I think that's insanely good advice. And I don't think that we've gotten that advice yet. So that is, really, really solid secret sauce. Thank you for
I'm sure some of the folks are doing that in the States also, because it's, I think for me, it's very simple that you really have to learn it, especially if you're really into your business, you really have to do it, right? Unless your laundry business is not your main business. So I guess you really have to get a service person on that. I used to buy broken machines and I play with it. I try to revive it, and I come up with a couple of successes already.
Nice. Yeah. Definitely a theme running through your entire story is resourcefulness. You said, Filipinos are resourceful. Well, you are the epitome of resourceful all throughout your whole journey so far. And I'm sure you will be continuing on too. So that's a whole nother secret sauce that, people should be implementing in their business.
Pro tips.
We have another section called Pro Tips, and that's more for, you got to think back to when you were first getting started, thinking about buying that little 250 square foot, laundry shop. Pro Tips is for the people who are thinking about getting into the business. Do you have any tips for anybody buying wanting to buy their first laundromat?
Yeah, there's a lot actually. Well, first step is do your research, do your homework. It's not that, I told you I didn't like the idea of having a laundry business because it's a dirty job, right? Mm-hmm. But when I did my research, I fell in love with it, that there's potential in this. There is an opportunity in the business, right? So yeah, research. Then another thing, this is very important. You have to find a mentor, someone that will guide you, not necessarily in the same industry. My first mentor in this industry, of course, was my consultant, right? So he taught me the fundamentals, and then in just a week of training, we're already capable of handling the business on our own. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at it this way. The cost was pricey in hiring that consultant, but we're not actually buying a laundry construction service there or a consultation service. We're actually buying our confidence, right? So day one, we're not having any problems. I felt that I was really equipped to take on our clients on day one, right? So my second mentors would be, of course, my folks, right? Even before, when they were non-believers, they were still advising me because they know they can't do anything. It was my decision. And even more so that when they become my believers, the more that I saw them how they taught me how to handle the business, how to deal with people, because they were also entrepreneurs back then. Right. And then last of my mentors, I have two good friends from two completely different businesses. I mean, industries. So what they do is I try to throw them my laundry ideas and they try to shoot me down. So that's how honest we are to each other, and they try to shoot it down. And if they're unable to shoot it down, they think that okay, it's going to work. Let's go. And you can do that. Actually, the idea of the society that I formed, it came from them. They gave me a lot of tips on that, on how to form this group. For the benefit, not for me, not only for me, but also for the members. Right? So get a mentor, and then we've been talking about this. You have to be resourceful, and in addition to that, you have to be agile. You have to learn to adapt, like what I did during the pandemic, during the lockdown, or when I had some issues in quality. Right? So you have to learn how to adjust. Right? There was a time back then. I still don't have the plan back then. That I'm having problems with my sales because I'm not sure about the prices that I have, if it's competitive. And then I realized that it was a bit higher compared to the others. So what I did was I did some guerrilla tactics and I called the competitors just to get their prices. Right. I pretended that I'm a client. I know it's bad, but I have to do it. I don't know what other way that I can do it. Right. In that sense, I was able to get a grasp of the current market prices in that area. So I was able to adjust and it worked actually. Right. So agile and resourceful. The next is you have to keep learning. Up until now, almost daily, I keep on researching about laundry. Even though I'm not based in the United States, I subscribe to the Coin Laundry Association and the other magazines. Right? I take a look of what's happening around the world. But of course, most of the time, the news is coming from the US, right? I don't get news from here much in Asia. But so it's still good because the machines that you guys are using and the processes that you're using, it's pretty much the same with we are doing here.
Yeah.
So keep learning. And lastly, and this is the most important, it's not always about money as the driving force in building a business. But of course, right, if you're a first timer, you will always think about that doing a business will make me rich so that I can get out of my day job, leave my day job and have my own time, right? But eventually, I realized that it's not all about the money. It's about solving people's problems, right? If it's far more important than money. Solve the problems, the money will just come. So that should be the mindset. I guess that's a lot of pro tips already. I'll stop there.
Man, I feel like a pro right now just from listening to you. But gosh, man, just such solid advice. I thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm just going to let it sit because it was just so good. And if you're looking at buying a laundry shop or a laundromat or any kind of laundry business, this advice is you need to implement it. Like do what he's talking about, because not only did it work for him, it's worked for pretty much every successful, laundry owner and small business owner and business owner in general. These are the things you need to do in order to set yourself up for success in business. And so make sure you're doing, all of these things, researching, finding mentors, being resourceful and, having agility, continue learning. All of these things are, they're just vital to success. So write them down, take out a notepad, write them down, stick it on your mirror in the bathroom, look at it every day and make sure you're doing those things until till you die, really. Like just keep doing them. So, do you have any resources that you recommend? I mean, you've mentioned like Coin Laundry Association, you've mentioned mentors. Is there anything else that you would recommend for people to help them grow their business or to grow? I mean, you talked a lot about mindset, which I loved. And, I don't know if you have any resources to help kind of develop a good mindset or anything like that.
Well, you just join the forums. You have a forum there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm having some problems logging in that forums. We'll talk separately on that on your forums. Yeah. So
I'm gonna check it out.
Join the forums. Also in the Facebook pages, there are a lot of laundry groups, that I joined in. I'm not an avid reader, but I have a couple of books that I have read, and I felt that it helped me a lot. So the first one would be The Blue Ocean Strategy from Harvard Business Press. Really, really good. And the next one is Getting Things Done by David Allen.
Yeah.
David Allen. And then the next one is The 10% Entrepreneur. It fits me perfectly. I was working back then and I have a business. So The 10% Entrepreneur by Patrick McGinnis. And then
I haven't read that.
Lastly, I would recommend The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. It's not applicable for us here in the Philippines, but I was able to get, read between the lines on how to use what he's trying to teach.
Yeah, I think it's a really great book for implementing systems, optimizing, saving time, saving money, putting the most important things first and getting rid of things that aren't important that we feel like maybe are important. So I think there's a lot. You're right. The main concept behind it is not necessarily applicable, but there are so many principles in there that are definitely applicable to what we're doing. Awesome resources. Man, that was, you're just bringing so much value just in terms of not only, strategy that you've talked about, marketing that you've talked about, mindset that you've talked about, resources that you've talked about. There's just so much to learn from you. You can tell that you have put in a ton of, sweat equity into your businesses. You have, learned a lot and you've absorbed from research, from mentors, from everybody. And it really shows, man. It really shows. And it's obvious, just by hearing your story, why you're as successful as you are and why you're going to continue to be successful going forward. You have all of these amazing traits. So one last question I have for you. I know, and you may not want this and that's totally okay, but I know that people are going to want to thank you for coming on the podcast, for sharing your story. They might have questions for you. If anybody wants to, ask you a question or just say thanks for coming on the show and sharing your story, is there a good way that they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, sure. I love to talk about laundry, meeting new people. You can reach to me through sudsmasterslaundry@gmail.com. So I monitor that actively. If you want an easier way, you can just shoot a message in my Facebook page, the Suds Masters Laundry. It's the page doesn't have any content, but I monitor it for messages. So if you want to talk there, it's also fine. Awesome.
Well, Paolo, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your story and sharing just so much wisdom. This has been an episode that I've been really, really excited for, since, we talked about you coming on, and it's exceeded all expectations. And I know that you got up super early to get on this, and I really appreciate that too.
Completely fine.
Yeah. Man, I love that. I look forward to, connecting more. We got to stay in touch, and
definitely,
man, I want to continue to hear about the progress that you're making, the ways that you're growing your business. And thanks again, man, for coming on. Really, really great.
Thank you too, man.
Yeah. We'll talk to you soon. Man, I hope you're still sticking around listening to this, because that was an incredible episode, don't you think? I mean, it's obvious that Paolo has invested a lot into himself, not just through reading books and having mentors, but also just through his experience, through doing, through scaling, through building, through overcoming various kinds of adversity. I mean, just the epitome of what that determination that it takes to succeed. Paolo has it in spades, and it's obvious, I think, to anyone listening why he is as successful as he is. So, man, I hope you got something. As always, I want to encourage you to take at least one thing from this show, from what Paolo shared maybe, and put that into practice in your life and or in your business, because if we're doing that every week, if we're learning these lessons from these successful owners, man, we're all going to be more successful. So make sure you pick something, put it into practice this week, and watch how you grow as you do that every single week. Again, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast or here on YouTube. You do not want to miss these interviews that are coming up, because there are some great ones coming up. You're going to love, love, love them. I promise you. And as always, make sure you're asking a question, answering a question over there on those forums every single week. And we will see you next week when we're keeping it international, kind of, sort of. And it's very intriguing. I think you're really going to love it next week. So we will see you next week on the Laundromat Resource Podcast. This is Jordan, and peace.